All right, so 5:05, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Yeah. All right, so we're going to start with the approval of minutes from June 16th. Do we want to go over those, or do we want to just take a quick look and motion to?
Quick look.
Yeah.
I approve those minutes. They're pretty simple.
Anybody want to second that?
I second.
Cool. All right.
Juan, can you hear me?
Is that Anna Marie?
Danielle, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we could hear you.
Yes.
Okay, so go ahead with the meeting, but I will be listening. And if you can hear me, then I can participate.
Great.
Awesome. Woohoo. Glad to hear that. All right, so moving on to new business. Escondido Community Foundation mural at Hawthorne Country Store. Take it away. Hello, welcome back. Good to see you too, man. Yeah.
My name is Tristan Petard.
I'm Dan Foerster.
I'm one of the artists for this project.
I sat on the board for the Escondido Art Association on Grand Avenue, and I'm kind of the one that helps raise funds for them.
Yeah. So it's been a bit of a work in progress to find the right location. We had a location, and that dissolved. We found a new one at Hawthorne Country Store, which is what you see up here. It's on Grand Avenue, extremely visible. I think it's a great location. High traffic count, over 30,000 a day, according to city data. And if you go to the next page, you will see this is what's going to be there instead of a blank wall. We're very excited about it.
The people at Hawthorne are excited about it. Escondido Art Association is excited about it. So is the Downtown Business Association. We're just all looking forward to having a new, or an addition to the gateway of downtown.
Yeah, and there's, as far as the design, like we tried to keep it simple so it's not too busy and too complex for people to grasp as they're going by, because it's largely a traffic area, less pedestrian, although maybe that will change. However, if you get into the details of it, this tree over here, it has the words history, diversity, identity, pride, and community. And then these leaves are going to be done in a silhouette, largely blues and blacks and grays with handprints, and we'll put them up. And then as we build like the first layer, the foundation of it, we'll use different handprints in bright colors pulled from the rest of the mural to represent fruit because of the agricultural aspect of the community. And then we'll of course overlay it again, and we have the sun rays and fields in the back, and this boy who you see it says AKA Tommy. So Suki, who couldn't be here today, she and I, as we were working on this.
I'm sorry, could you stand a little closer? I can't hear.
Yeah. So Suki and I, as we were working on this and on the concept, we started calling it Tommy. So even though the mural is the hidden place, I left AKA Tommy up there for y'all, because
That's Tommy.
yeah, and his little dog.
And the rooster is kind of an homage to Hawthorne. They said we'd like a rooster on there.
Yeah.
Psychedelic rooster was what she asked for.
Yeah, a psychedelic chicken.
Chicken, yeah. Actually, she did say chicken.
Yeah.
I have a question about the rectangular boxes.
Yes.
So, tell me about, those are the windows.
Yeah. So that represents the directional sign of one way, because it is one way there, and then the windows.
Gotcha.
But it'll be paint behind the sign, obviously, and then those windows are going to stay because it provides natural light into the store. It's important, but we're going to paint up to the trim of those. More questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So now that I know that those are windows, because I was going to suggest I would love to be able to read the words I know that most of the people are going to see it driving by, so it would have been lovely if we could have just make it a little larger, just go all the way to the top to
Oh,
see if we
with
could
those
read some of
words?
those words. But are you saying you can't go farther up?
Well, the tree itself, Anna Marie, can go a little higher, but those words need to end before the line, the horizontal line of those windows. And quite honestly, from a design standpoint, you don't want to cram stuff up to it, so we want to give it enough space. So this is representational of it, but when we get there and we start doing it, we will make the words as visible and as large as the canvas allows.
Okay, got it.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You mentioned that you would be using more handprints to
Yes, ma'am.
represent leaves.
Pardon?
To represent leaves, is that what I heard?
Leaves and fruit.
Great idea. What colors palette are you planning on using? The
This?
same-
This
okay.
color palette? Blues, greens, and pinks largely. So it's kind of like a primary triad color palette, except it's shifted to be a little bit brighter, a little bit more vibrant. Rather than reds, we'll shift to pinks. One of the things for the longevity of this, we are going to utilize metal oxide paints, which have a long life. That's one of the things that I think is important for any sort of public art installation. In addition to the color aspect of it, to pigments that won't fade, we'll be putting a coating on it that's a double process coating, one that protects it from UV and breathes with water moisture, and another that is ablative, meaning that if anything happens to it, we can come with high pressure water, remove whether it's graffiti or damage for whatever reason, and reapply that exterior coating. So it really should improve the longevity of it. The requirement, I believe, is that it's 5 years. We're shooting for double, triple that if we can.
Great. I have one other. I love the design. I love it's directional with the flow of traffic. It's exciting. It shines a bright light on Escondido. The only remark I have is the last 3 windows that are touching the tree. And I know that the windows allow natural light, but is there any way to soften the tree transition into the window space? Maybe a couple of hands?
Possibly. That's actually a pretty good idea. Maybe we could do something like that. I'm meeting with the building owner next week, and you know, having the windows open for natural light was important to them. But I think that's totally appropriate, at least to discuss, and I think there's a way to execute that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, it's great.
Yeah, and
Yeah, if I could add, I agree with Terry. I think that would be wonderful if that could happen. I have 2 questions. One is, has Hawthorne agreed to maintain the mural at this point? Or that's one question. And the second question, I would like to see a time frame for this mural, when would be starting and when would be done, 3 months or so on. So those are my 2 questions.
Okay. So yes. Well, yes, and yeah. I'll just go with yes. So the maintenance of it is a partnership between the Escondido Arts Association and the artists who are executing it. Of course, Hawthorne Country Store has an interest in maintaining that. The way our agreement is written is that we will maintain it, the artists and the EAA. What was the next part of that?
Just the longevity.
The longevity of it. Okay. So
We have a component in place where we'll be taking over the maintenance of the installation for the period of the installation, and I can see that going on longer.
Yeah.
And, we really appreciate the funds that are coming to us from the Escondido Community Foundation. They've been extremely generous with providing the funds for this mural. And as part of that, that is going to go on with the maintenance that's going to go on with it, and that we have the responsibility for maintaining that.
Yeah, I mean, and the Escondido Community Foundation, as Dan said, I mean, they're instrumental in making this happen. So that's really been kind of a part of this, part and parcel from concept, from the art that goes into it, but also the maintenance of it. I mean, it's for the community. So there are numerous parties who have a vested interest in keeping that maintenance up.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you. So what about a time frame?
Time frame.
Timeline.
That was the second question. Okay, so we would like to execute it as soon as possible. As everyone here knows, there can be stumbling blocks in getting to a point where you can execute a piece of public art. That said, from the outset, it was 1 year from basically like this point to completion. We plan to finish it well before that. It would begin right now tentatively sometime in October. We're beginning the planning phases of it. Myself and Heather Hawthorne with Hawthorne Country Store are meeting next week to do a thorough walkthrough, see what prep we need to do to it. We're going to do it right. We're not going to rush it, but we do want it up as soon as we can.
I do have to make a remark. I'm
Yes, ma'am.
looking at my picture on my screen compared to the one that's up above. Mine has the windows totally blocking out any of the tree. Yours up here has the trees overlapping onto the windows.
Okay, you might have gotten the one that you have on your computer
Yeah.
screen is probably an earlier iteration.
It should be this. Everyone should have, yeah.
Everyone's seen that?
See mine?
Okay, anyways,
Different than that.
yeah, so the tree is definitely going to flow up and over and past that window line. That's not a stopping point. It's a part of it that's going to be embraced in the canvas, but it's going to flow above it. Flow is important.
Okay, so that's why I made the remark. I'm looking at Patricia's screen and hers has the tree overlapping. Mine has the windows as the main focus.
Okay, perhaps you're looking at the
That's
PDF
mine
that we
too.
submitted to the mural committee and to the city prior to this, and maybe that was an earlier iteration, but this is what we're going for.
Yes, I like the overlapping that is
Cool.
presented up there.
Right on.
The
Yeah, I can
last
see it.
little remark I have is, you do use the word tree roots,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, rooted in the community is symbolic of all things. I think I would like to see a couple of those roots actually rooted. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so
Now,
that
mine's a straight line. I don't know if everybody else is a straight line where the roots end.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I can't tell, but it's symbolic to me.
Okay, yeah. I'm 100%, I understand what you're saying with that. What you're seeing there is history and diversity, these two words which come up and form and swirl around. But when it comes to actually painting it, those roots do need to extend out and become a part of it. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'd like to echo what everyone said. I would actually like to see a larger psychedelic chicken, if possible.
Yeah? Are y'all familiar with the
Oh,
giant
yeah.
chicken they have out there?
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So I would like to eventually see what the tree looks like there, because that bothered me, that it was coming right under the window
Okay.
when it should
You
be.
can bring it up in
So
between.
you have what I have on your
Yes.
screen.
Yeah.
Tricia's is different.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay, maybe I can look at
See how
that.
mine's a straight line?
Quick way to tell, does the background that you're looking at, is it white with black words or is it gray with white words?
Gray.
Okay, well then it should be there. Maybe it's a contrast on the monitor or something, but definitely that was a concern for the community foundation as well as myself, and you know branches and the leaves and all aspects of it are going to come up and flow. Part of the flow that I'm speaking of, I mean, so I look at this, and Suki did as well, as it's a canvas, right? So we want it to be an art piece that moves and flows. So we have this sun up here. There's going to be words in those swirls, which is defined there. But these sunbeams come down. And then these triangles that move and flow across it, that's another form of motion. And then this boy Tommy running, chasing his dog, and then that tree is going to take it and bring it back around. So you have a cyclical flow of the canvas. That's important.
The triangles are great.
Yeah.
See, I have a
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yes. So what you're looking for is an approval from us? Not
Yes,
finances?
yeah, we're not looking for funding. The Escondido Community Foundation has funded this. Their board has approved it. We are coming to the Public Art Commission because it's important that what the city is doing is embraced and is a partnership with everyone else.
Great. And just, is that a good medium to put that on? I know that at Washington Park, they're bricks, and it's very hard to get the actual, for it to translate, in other words, you know,
Oh,
so I'm saying?
we're going to paint this. It's not a vinyl transfer.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
So
Well-
it's actually a great wall for it.
Good,
It's
that's what I'm
stucco,
saying.
but it's not super ridged.
And concerning the wall, the other picture, could we go back to that, of where Hawthorne, oh, yeah, go back, where'd it go? Yeah, here. There's a lot of, or maybe it doesn't, let me see. Okay, that's rocks down there. I thought it was some chunks out of the wall, and I wondered if Hawthorne was going to be responsible to make it, because that's all your eye would go to if it was a chunk out of it. But
Yeah,
I see
know
it's a rock.
There's no holes there, but as I said, Heather and I are going to walk it next week and see if there's anything maintenance-wise that needs to be applied to it. As far as remodels or anything like that to delay the project, that is not in their plan, so.
Now that I'm looking
So,
at
you mentioning, Tristan, that maybe at the latest you would be starting in October. We are right now in July.
Yeah.
Obviously, there are 3 months from now.
Yeah,
That sounds reasonable to you because you have the other mural you're starting too.
yep.
So will you be able to have it, this particular one done maybe by December?
Anna Marie, I'm not sure that I can commit to that. Probably be a little bit later than that. I would take it into the new year. Not into March, but January is feasible, depending on how it goes, how the execution of it goes. Because I'll say this, when it comes to any sort of art project that I do, and even in my other professional life, which is design and digital media and stuff, I focus on making stuff as good as it can be. So when it comes to building this and to putting it down there, there's new things that are going to come up. There's other attentions to detail that we're going to want to address. I don't want to rush it. I do know that it's important for everyone. It's in everyone's interest to get it completed in a timely manner, but it's important to give it the time that it deserves.
I'm a stickler for detail, but I do see two things on this wall. Number one is the one-way sign. I don't know how we would address that, but the one-way sign, if it could be moved down to the farthest end, because
Yeah.
it really is an eyesore when you have a
Yeah,
big
that's something
mural.
that, with the appearance committee, that maybe we can move it, maybe even just not to the end, but half a block up or half a block down. There are some things that the city can probably facilitate with that.
The second one, I only see one small light in the middle of the windows, above the windows. Is Hawthorne or somebody going to take responsibility for maybe more lighting? This would be a shame if this wasn't lit at night.
I agree with that sentiment, and without having a definitive answer, for that. I will say that my preference, and I think everybody's would be, that that light is removed. It doesn't interrupt the canvas, and then we put lighting from the roof down. Exactly what part of the budget that comes from and exactly how that's funded, I don't have the answer to that today. But yeah, it's a good point.
I'm done with my.
Yeah, lighting has been one of the concerns we have. We feel that whatever we have from now on, new artwork needs to be lighted. In this particular case, it'd be great if we could have them from the ceiling down. And as Juan has mentioned, if they could be solar, it would be the best solution possible. So hopefully you can discuss this with Hawthorne, and then I don't know if that would be included in the total, that would be between you guys and the foundation, right?
Yeah. Well, Dan?
Thinking about being put on the spot by an organization.
Or the city has funds.
Yeah, we could,
If they're increasing the requirements.
yeah.
And we funded it, and
Yeah.
now the requirements have changed, I think there's other pots to draw from.
Yeah. Is it
If I can
possible
jump
that-
in here. The requirements actually have not changed. It's something that we've talked about wanting to do, but it has not yet been written into the mural policy.
Okay.
So I think you're fine. I mean, ideally, of course, we want it lit, but it is not in our written policy yet. And I think that's something that we'll address as we go through this public art master planning process and we amend our mural policy. So again, ideally, if we could light it, that's great, but that's not something we're going to require of you.
Okay, well, requirement or not, it's a great point. Is that something that the Public Art Commission would be interested in helping fund and support for this mural project?
I would.
Well, we'd need an estimate first.
Okay.
We can provide that.
Yeah, I think it's important that anything we go from now on, it is lighted at night. I know, Danielle, but we don't have a mural policy per se approved right now, but we could add it as a recommendation from now on. And if we can include it in the funding, I think we should go ahead and approve some funding for that.
Wonderful. I think that's the idea of partnership, so I agree.
Awesome. All right.
I had one question that came up through the Appearance Committee's review. The hands that are proposed,
Yes.
they will be painted on and not, like, a person will not be,
We're not getting individuals who are not covered by insurance and liability up on anything that's.
that was their exact concern, yes. Okay, thank you. And then will you need to close the sidewalk?
I believe there is enough right-of-way between the sidewalk and there for the lift. I can verify that.
Okay.
If we need to close the sidewalk, is that something that we can do?
Yes, we'll just have to get an encroachment permit for you.
Okay, okay.
All right. Talk about partnership. Awesome. Yeah, no, that was, I think everything was well thought out, and even, all the little intricacies, really well thought out for sure.
It's simple, but it's fun. You don't have to really stare at it as you go. It's not a distraction. It's just kind of a nice way to enter the city without,
Yeah. And
getting
I think
complicated.
with any piece like this, like you have the big brushstrokes, but then if somebody wants to look into it deeper, there's more messaging.
Yeah, if you're stopped at a light.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else that anybody wants to add about this? I think it's great. Yeah. And this is not anything that we need to motion or anything, because this is just.
There's no funding. Yes, the funding's coming from an alternate source, so I don't think we have to vote and approve.
Perfect. Yeah.
As far as the lighting component, if we wanted to proceed with that, what's the best way to do that? Is that something that can be tentatively approved at this point, or do we need to bring back a budget?
I think you'll need to bring back a budget.
Okay,
And just present at the next Public Art Commission meeting.
okay.
But the good news is it.
and I would consider solar lights also.
Yes, that could be a second phase to the project or something
Okay.
like that.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Cool.
So
Thank you.
Are we looking for an approval from the
No, because we're not funding this mural, I think it's just a matter of bringing it to the commission, making them aware of the art that's happening downtown, and hearing their, hearing their input on the design. But they don't have to formally approve it.
Okay.
Exactly. Cool.
No, we do value your approval.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Beautiful art.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. Cool. All right, so moving on. Next up, Esco Alley Art. Oh, man, I hope you wear comfortable shoes. Stay up here. There you go.
This is our latest flyer that has the opening and the map of last year.
Thank you.
What we're doing next year.
Awesome. All right.
Some of you have seen this. Some of you may be familiar with the project, some not.
Which side do you want?
That's not moving this.
Oh, well, if I hit play, I think it will go.
Okay, we have a
you want me to-
1 minute little thing that is a video that captures what we are.
What we are.
This is Heather Moore.
Or more. Yeah, hi.
Do I have access to that video? I don't think I have it.
Anna Marie, you do not, because I received it on a thumb drive today, but I'll share it with you. It's just the Escondido Alley Art images.
Same as
Oh,
last
okay,
time.
okay.
So, I mean, this captures the essence of what we were trying to do and what we feel that we were successful in doing last year and what we're trying to do again this year right now. We're in process of phase 1 of the 2022 season. It's community engagement. It's a 24/7 public art gallery, essentially. And we're bringing in new artists of different skill levels, different diversities. We've introduced new sizes this year. So last year was 8x8 or 8x4 or 4x8. So we have some smaller 4x4 canvases that are more approachable to youth and people who want to get out there and need that encouragement. Something that, you know what, I can do this. You know, give them that. And we also have a large canvas size that's 12 foot wide by 8 foot. Again, it's still all on a semi-permanent type basis, like we're putting it up. But we're trying to go big, we're trying to go small, we're trying to make it for everyone.
Yeah, that's it.
And I do have, if y'all care to see it, there's number 2 on there. A bit of a map, which is on the back of that flyer.
This one?
Yeah. So between Broadway and Maple is what you were just looking at. That's where we did last year. And this year we're trying to go between Kalmia and Broadway in the next alley over. It's a little more complex. We have more than one business owner,
Yeah.
more than one building owner.
Yeah.
But we're making it happen. And if you, Danielle, if you can go to the next one. This is a view of that alley. This is our map of the buildings and the space and the potential space. What's in the little gray box is what we're doing in phase 1, which the opening is on August 13th, the second Saturday of August. And then we have some mock-ups of what those actual buildings will be and where we will put these canvases. So y'all can get a good sense of how we're gonna hang this.
I'm sorry, did you say these were permanent when you choose them?
Semi-permanent / temporary, where they can go up, they can go down, depending on what the requirements are.
Had any graffiti on it?
You know, we had a little bit of trouble with graffiti. We've had 2 so far that actually had graffiti on them. And one of them we were able to paint out, the other one we just kind of left it there because it blended in. We were really lucky. Yeah. So we're kind of crossing our fingers. This has been a really positive community thing. So as a general rule, people don't deface them.
Yeah,
It makes me smile. It's nice.
Yeah, that's what we're looking for.
there we go.
There's,
We got a few, I think 5 buildings or so in this right now.
We have a total of how many? this phase?
Oh, total. We're doing 16 or 17 murals for phase one. We have upwards of 40 mural spaces that are planned and potentially planned in 2 to 3 phases, depending on how it works. It's a little fluid, but we're pushing to put as many up as we can.
That's it?
I believe so.
So you guys were great in that you gave us some money last year. So we thought we would bring back the budget and show you what we actually spent, if you're interested. Carol's passing that out. Yeah, there's 3 different separate things here. I'm also giving you the agreements that we have with the building owners and the agreements that we have with the artists. And a sticker.
You can just email it to me.
Yeah, we
Heather,
have enough.
what
Yeah.
was the amount we provided last year?
Last year you provided 11,500. We spent 9689 last year. That was about $200 over what we budgeted. We had budgeted 9405. Partly that was because we got music during the party. It was a great party. We're really trying to make this, keep the cost of it as low as we can, the effect as big as we can. We changed medium. I don't think we've talked about that. We used plywood for the first phase, for this one that you're looking at. And of course, the cost of plywood went way up. And we also had to frame out the plywood. And so we did a little bit of research. This year, we're using plastic. It's plastic on aluminum, right?
Yeah, it's
aluminum
called
on plastic.
aluminum composite panel or material.
Yeah.
And it's basically a thin aluminum sheet, 2 thin aluminum sheets sandwiching plastic.
Right.
It's much lighter, it's much more durable.
It's perfect. I don't know why we didn't get it. Oh, we thought it was more expensive than it was. So it turns out that it's actually less expensive than plywood. So we're going to be spending less money this year on materials, which is really cool. And it's also going to be easier for us to hang because it's not quite so heavy. And it shouldn't deflect. That was our biggest problem. I don't know if you guys saw that in the alley, but our biggest problem really was that some of the plywood started to bend and deflect with the weather. Sealing it, we tried to get our artists to seal it really well. That was a tough one. So we shouldn't have that same problem, though, with the aluminum and the plastic. It doesn't really have to be sealed, although we are sealing them. So, but we have more artists this year, so of course we need more stuff. One of the things that we found is this has been really universally positive. Like everybody seems to really love it. We're having a good time doing it. We have the same committee that we started with. We have one member who joined us halfway through the year, but nobody's left our committee. And one of the things that's really important to us is that we haven't had any problems so far with people wanting to put up murals that we don't think are appropriate. We really worried that one at the beginning, So it's our job, we decided in our committee to really look at everything and make sure it was appropriate before it went up. And we have in the agreements with the artists that we gave you, that registration, it says that basically we can take down their artwork for any reason at any time. And we just thought that's what we need. And then we also, in our agreements with the building owners, we also have said to them, we will take it down at any time. Because this has to be a voluntary, we're not paying people to do this. We want everybody who's participating in it to be happy with what's going on. And we want to be able to act quickly if something causes a problem. We don't want that to happen. With that in mind, our last contract had to be signed by the Downtown Business Association, which is us. We're a committee of the Downtown Business Association. It also had to be signed by John Paul, which was the building owner, and then the city. And so we'd like to suggest that this year the agreement be between the city and the Downtown Business Association. And that we handle the agreements then between the artists, which we've always done, and also with the building owners. And by making these basically temporary installations that they can ask to have removed, I think it sort of takes out a lot of the problematic issues of something that's like some of the other murals that go up. We'd also like, of course, to ask you to fund our next season, the one after this. So we're looking at our costs for that, and we think it should be very similar. We'd like to look into lighting, but because these are temporary installations on a lot of different people's buildings, we're probably not the best person to be developing some kind of specialty lighting system. Ideally, there'd be something that was super easy, and you could stick it on there and take it off when you wanted to. And if anybody develops that, we'll use it. But as of now, we haven't found it. It's not in our budget. We'd love to find something like that. We'd like to ask for $13,500, which is $2,000 more for next year, just because what we've seen is that costs do go up.
Can I add to that? So the funding that the city through the Public Art Commission gave us last year, it took a while to get the contract executed. Actually, it was last Thursday. So we're about 11 months from the last time we were here. As a volunteer organization, we've all covered that. And so basically this makes us whole. And we're continuing on with the project, and we think it's good for the city, and we want y'all to, again, partner with us to continue it.
Yeah, it's good value. I think it's good value.
Danielle, where would it come from, City Murals Fund?
Yes.
Okay.
I have a question regarding the location. I know it's between Kalmia and Broadway. The parking lot on Kalmia will take probably 2/3 of that side, the southern part of it. So the most of the pieces are going to be on one side of that. And then when it gets to the corner of Broadway, the AT&T building is there. Any news, Tristan, on whether they're going to paint that wall?
We have
Or
Carol.
there's going to be no art on the AT&T building?
Hi, my name is Carol Rogers, and I have been communicating with AT&T. We just heard from them today. Initially, normally the way they issue their agreements is they talk about murals that will be painted on the walls. And it took a bit for them to understand that we actually want to attach them. So the agreement is in their legal department now. They've asked us for some additional mock-ups so that they can see exactly what the murals will look like on the wall. And it's our expectation that we'll be able to do those AT&T murals in our second phase so that we will see them up on the walls by October, and AT&T believes that that is a deadline that we can meet.
Yeah.
You didn't know that, huh?
No, I didn't know that. This is news, yeah.
And with that, there's actually more space on the AT&T wall than there is on the entire other side of the block, just because of the way the wall space fits
That's right.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the other one are broken down by windows and doors and all kinds of things, right?
Correct.
Yeah, Tristan's been really creative in how to fit these murals up there.
Carol, thank you for being a good liaison with this. You did mention that at will, an artist could take their work down, or you could take the work down. If you remove work, are you going to put new work up in their place?
Absolutely, positively.
And how fast would that transition take?
Well, what we've done so far is we can move things around. Since we're the curators, right? We're allowed to, so we don't have a hole somewhere. And we have a list of artists who are interested in participating in each phase. We're keeping a running list. So I couldn't tell you exactly, but so far, I don't know if anybody's seen, we've had to do a bit of this already. So
Yeah.
I don't think you'll even notice if we do that.
Yeah, if one needs to come down, we have artists that are, as Heather said, that are interested in doing it. Our lead time from when we give an artist their panels, their canvas, to when we receive them back, we try and give them 6 weeks. There's obviously lead up time to that, and then there's time afterwards to install it.
I absolutely love this project. I think it represents our city, our spirit, our community. Have you ever considered a small section designated to children's art?
You know, we throw that around every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
we do have, in this first phase, we have 2 teenagers that are in high school participating. Last phase, we had a young gentleman, his name is Xavier Dion. He was 11 then, he's 12 now. He's blossoming and flourishing in his art. He's become my friend. It's beautiful. So yeah, that's definitely a component
Great.
of it.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm impressed with how you came, you saw an opportunity, and you said you were going to do it, and you did it without a lot of fanfare and just a minimal amount of, well, I'm sure there's a lot of people behind the scenes, but I just know you guys are hard workers, and you set out to do something, and you do it, and I thank you for doing that for our city. I think it makes a big difference. It makes people talk and want to come to the city to see what you've done. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with that too.
Yeah, I appreciate the transparency with all of this other stuff too. I think it's important for us to kind of see where the money's going and whatnot. So I really appreciate that. I had a I was reading the art. It looks like you have a 60-40 like thing of when the art panels are sold. I'm curious about that. Why is the artist receive less then?
We haven't sold anything yet.
Okay.
We may leave them up forever and not ever sell them, I don't know. We just needed to have something that would, most artists, it's interesting, this is up there as they're speaking to the public. So they're not really up there for them to sell.
Yeah.
And they don't, that's not the first question they ask us. So we wanted to put something in there that we could do, and really our expectation is that if we get to some kind of fundraising auction or we'll be doing some more consultation.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I was just curious about that. But yeah, otherwise I feel like, again, I echo what everyone else has said. I think a lot of folks, I was there at the grand opening and yeah, it was a lot of fun. My kids really enjoyed it too, and I think it's a really cool community bonding event for sure. So, yeah, is this something we need a motion to fund the project
Yes,
today?
you'll need to make a motion and vote on this. I just have one question about the budget. So you're requesting 13,500, and I'm looking at like phases 1 through 3 was about $10,000. So are you anticipating this will cover phase 4 through 7? 4 through 6?
Yeah.
4, 5, 6, yeah, 3, okay,
Yeah, we want to fill out, we think this will fill out this alley, is our expectation,
okay.
the complete alley, yeah.
Okay. And then that's why it's more this time around, right?
There's a lot more
Yeah.
to it. It was easy. We're lucky. The first one was easy. We had a row on a building. Right?
Yeah.
And now we have a bunch of sign. Anyway, it makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Should be cool.
So these here, those are what will be phase 1 then of phase 1 of phase 4?
No.
That's not 100% accurate. That's a work in progress, but it was it was the most recent one I had today, on hand today, to show you guys of where we're trying to put stuff. So your question in the gray outline, right? Not the gray buildings.
Okay.
In the gray outline, that's essentially phase 1.
Yeah, the big block, yeah. The 2 little gray blocks are actually buildings that declined to participate.
Yeah.
I see.
Bummer.
The 2 littles. Well, usually it's a legal thing. You know, one of them is for sale, and so can't blame them.
Got it. Okay.
We're still going to ask them again.
Yeah,
Maybe
we'll
they
keep
want to be a
bugging
part.
Or maybe the new owners.
Yeah,
you go.
they'll come around. We'll get them up there.
We need a strong arm. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No violence. All right. Is there any other questions? No? All right. Anybody want
So
to?
we need a motion?
Yeah, so do we go ahead and want a motion to approve?
To approve this budget, just this grant?
I second it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Do we have to go through a vote, right, or is that enough? Yeah. So all those in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, cool. Motion passes.
Thank you so
All
much.
right.
Yeah, thank you. Very
Cool.
exciting. We'll see you in a year.
Awesome. Thank you all for being here. And again, we appreciate
Yay.
everything.
Well, thank you very much.
Cool. All right. So moving on with the agenda, we are now on new business item 4, mural for Tamales Jovita. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped. Let me take that back. Public art education is where we're at right now.
This item was put on by Commissioner Velasco, so I don't know if she's able to speak to us
Yeah.
on this right now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so actually, it should have been more of promoting public art more than public art education. But when I took Lynn and Heidi on our tour of some of the art pieces in Escondido, an idea sprouted as far as basically doing the same thing we were doing, but having it available to the public. So Commissioner Lynn came up with a really wonderful idea, and I asked her if she could just kind of, at the meeting today, explain what it would be about. And it would be, I think, a digital activity. But anyway, let me have her explain it to everybody. Lynn, are you ready?
So I was thinking a lot about this and how we could engage the community in the public art projects and kind of organize them into something as simple as maybe like a Google map on My Maps. I don't know if anyone's really familiar with that, but I know the Port of San Diego's done it, where they just appear a map on their website and you can easily like go from point A to point B, not only with like public sculptures and murals, but also maybe like privately funded things as well. So just to like increase, our presence with public art in Escondido. I think the pros of it is going to be really appealing. It's essentially free to initiate, decreased to no labor costs, I think, from like the city. If we have like some sort of inventory of all the art, that would be helpful. And this can be also in preparation for bigger projects such as like the Center City sculpture ideas and things like that. But just a way to engage the community.
I believe we were talking about making it interactive, almost like a game. I remember being at Queen Khalifa one day and having young people coming there. They needed to find something, and then they were running to another location. So turning it into really an activity for people to come to Escondido and join that activity with a beginning and an end.
Yeah,
Is that possible, Lynn?
Well, I was explaining to Lynn and Anna Marie that when I was in Palm Springs in January, my friend found a really interesting scavenger hunt site that by following it, and they make it into a game, you discover all of the art and the landmarks and interesting cultural things that made Palm Springs go from, maybe not as interesting to really fascinating. So there is this site, scavengerhunt.com, but I don't know how easy or difficult that is to set up. We need a real techie person.
What are the thoughts everybody has? I think it would be fun and it would be interactive. And Danielle, how would that be advertised? Through the scavenger hunt website?
We could post it on the public art page of the city's website.
Okay.
I'm sure it would be a link. Was it on your phone? Yes. So I'm sure it would be a link that we can put on the public art webpage on the city's website, and then people would just have to go there and then link up through their telephone.
Yeah, we even thought of having a little competition here, with maybe the Escondido Public Art Commission and another group, and see if we can run through some things. Just turn it into something fun and exciting.
I just wanted to mention, Anne Marie, I miss seeing your face. I know we had talked about downtown, the heart of Escondido, a self-guided public art walking tour. I don't know if you guys have seen this before. It's something that has been around a while. And it's, I mean, it needs to be updated for sure, but it's a good start to, I'll just pass it on down.
Yeah.
I think this is something that needs to be explored. We're not going to figure out anything right now.
Where does a citizen get that?
I don't know that there's not that many around right now because it's quite.
They can pick that up at City Hall here.
Okay.
Or it's on our website. They can download it, print it.
Can we create like a QR code where we might be able to maybe put it on some of our pieces, and then that way that kind of leads it to a self-guided tour, like say, I don't know, what's one of the most accessible public art pieces we have, the
Queen Khalifa.
Queen, and then have a QR code that says, hey, here's some more public art in the city, or that might be a good thing too. I'm also thinking about Pokemon Go. I think that'd be a really cool thing to. So for those who might not know what Pokemon Go is it's a little game where you literally go out and look for Pokemon throughout the. So if we can make each public art piece its own thing somehow, I don't know how that works, to be honest, but I know it does get people out exploring, and hey, well, here's the public art piece while I'm catching this Pokemon or whatever. So just ideas. I think, coming up with some good ideas to really have people go out there and explore, I think is great. And I think those might be 2 or 3 things that we could explore.
I think it would be a good idea to have a few people focusing on that. I know Lynn started on that. I don't know if anybody else in the commission would be willing to join her on this project.
I would be interested in joining, and I would agree with the QR code. If we want to engage with a younger demographic, I think we definitely need to go into the digital spaces.
Right. Yeah.
Meg, could you say who is it talking, because I can't see you guys?
That was Natalie.
Okay, thank you.
Sweet.
Have any of you
Yeah,
heard
great,
of
great
Haji's?
idea.
Have you any of you heard or seen Haji's?
Haji's? No.
It's a beautiful redwood sculpture from a downed, I don't know whether it's redwood or hard eucalyptus, but it's by Lake Hodges, and it's carved out, and it's a huge, I don't know whether it's a dinosaur or a sea monster, but it's probably 10 feet tall.
Yes.
And it's fascinating. So if you're doing a scavenger hunt, which I'm kind of hearing that, I don't know whether you would want to expand over to Lake Hodges. It's past Hernandez Hideaway.
Yeah, I think that's something that you guys can talk about as we're exploring all these ideas. I mean, that's county, that's not City of Escondido, but I mean, I don't see why not.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and I also think that these are all things with this, I know I keep going back to this, but we're about to start the public art master planning process, and that's what we're hiring these people to do, to help us figure these things out. They will have ideas and help us move these things forward. So,
I have a question about privately maintained public art. Natalie and I thought that we went and visited the time disc at Cypress Court, and that's private property, but it's right by the sidewalk, but not many people really walk on that sidewalk, I don't think. It's really a wonderful piece, and then where it's located, I don't know how many people get to appreciate it. Is there ever a way to move a piece? Probably not.
if it was our piece, we could certainly entertain moving it, but if if someone else owns it, I mean, we could approach them, but it would be unlikely, I think, that they would want to remove it from their property.
So when it's denoted PM, that means they own it?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And I just drove by it and finally I saw it, Heidi. And actually, there was a pedestrian looking at it. So yeah, people walk in that area? They do.
Yep.
Okay.
I still walk by it every day coming back from school.
With that said, though, they should be in our inventory. So we had an intern last year, and she started to put together a list of, updating the list of all the arts so that we can update the walking map, so that we can update the website. I don't think she captured everything, but that's something that we can definitely, that's our goal. We want to update those lists, and there's quite an extensive list on our website already, and some of them it does contain the privately owned pieces. So if there's something that you see that's not on the website, we want to get a picture, maybe a little history of it. If you can provide those to us, we're happy to add them and update the site and just, keep it up to date.
Awesome. Cool.
Good.
All right. So yeah, I think as Danielle said, these are all great points that we could bring over to the folks that are going to help us with the master plan, and this is going to be awesome. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to item C4, Mural Tamales Jovita. All right. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Alex Fong Samran, and my name is Michaela Sanderson. Yeah, we're with Mad Murals. So, if you want to start, you can actually go to probably the site image, which is on, So this is the proposed site, which is in the heart of Maple Street Plaza. So the little shop on the side there is Tamales Jovita, and that wall is actually about 14 feet tall and 100 feet long. So that's the proposed site. So of course it's very central. It's West 158 Grand Avenue, so a lot of foot traffic, not just foot traffic, but obviously cars. It's also visible on West Valley Parkway, so you have a lot of people coming in and out. Also the picnic benches, you have the university right there, so you have a lot of people who are basically just really enjoying the space. Also, it's huge. It takes up like the entire stretch of Maple Street Plaza. And it's just, also if you look at the historic downtown Escondido area, a lot of the buildings are so close together, there's little to no mural space. Like it's just very minimal. And so, and then another thing to think about is just that there's events here. So like the Tuesday Farmers Market's that's on Grand Avenue. I was meeting a contractor there, and there was an Escondido Chocolate Festival. I didn't even know that existed until like that was the center meeting place. And then they also have like quinceañeras, I was told by the owners, like so it's very central, and there's a lot of things happening here. And then it's a place to just add that because of these parties happening, it will be a wall that will be enjoyed also from close up, because this is a place people are spending a quality amount of time. It's not just foot traffic. This is a place of gathering. So our proposed piece is taking that in consideration, and it will be it's more detailed. And it hopefully would it would be enjoyed by locals, tourists, and probably improve the business as well, I would think, because people would want to hang out here. So this kind of shows the other view from where the university is looking out, but there's actually picnic tables on either side. So you can see there's literally picnic tables along the whole thing where people could just stop, sit, and enjoy. So it's a really cool thing, because we really wanted this location, because you really don't always get a mural that's enjoyed by both pedestrians and the cars. It's really there's just a lot going on here, and so it's a very unique, special location. So currently the wall is in a state of disrepair. There is, as you can see, there's holes, but you can't actually see very well in these photos. There are cracks basically along a lot of the wall. The stucco is separating from the wall, which means that a lot of the wall needs stucco repair in order to even be painted on, right? Like the state right now, we can't paint on it. So we actually need to remove the old stucco, get new stucco, as well as painting the mural.
So, I mean, essentially, the reason why the owner she was in tears when we met with her, because the tenant here has been here a very long time. She hopes to pass it on to the owners who are currently tenants there. So it would be something that stayed in the community for community ownership. But a huge part of her heart is they would love to repair this wall. They haven't had the funds. And so for them, this would be a huge gift to the community's local owners, business owners. Unfortunately for us, we're trying to budget out the art itself, $15 square foot. So we're trying to keep our art budget as low as possible, but a lot of the budget we're looking at asking you guys for may be a harder sell, because a lot of our budget, unfortunately, the more contractors we spoke with realized this is going to be quite a beautification project for the sake of the city. So that is a lot of your buy-in. You have to believe that this not only needs maybe the mural, but also just for the sake of the city, it would improve the.
Yes. And then in this photo, there's actually that's older asphalt, but since this photo, when I first started talking to the owners, there's a new line of asphalt, new painted parking lot there.
So it looks a little better.
So looks better, and it's better for scaffolding and all that as well. Yeah. So that's just to show the beautiful new asphalt. Yeah. So this is the proposed image. And so basically a lot of my desire was to show hope amid struggle. I kind of get frustrated sometimes that art either shows really cheesy happy, or it's dark and depressing and owning it. And I'm we have enough of that in our world. We watch the news and it's dude, we need some more stuff where you I don't know, I just feel you need more of finding the hope when there's that struggle. So in this image, you have a woman, and there's dark clouds behind her. She's not paying attention to the clouds. She actually is just looking up at the light, and she's actually upholding her home. And then, that's dark clouds behind her, and then to the left side, you have, that's the nopal cactus. And one of the commission members last time mentioned that he would like to see the tuna, the fruit, the prickly pear on there, so we could consider doing that. But one thing I wanted to mention is that, so the cactus is kind of to symbolize drought, there's no water, not a lot of life, but actually I would like to have it where the cactus isn't the main focus, it's actually the poppies that are kind of overtaking it. And poppies are also a drought-resistant plant, which is symbolic as well. So, and then obviously Escondido is a desert, so we all know how that is. And then just even the symbol of a home being a place of refuge, and how she's lifting that up to have the light shine. One thing I do want to mention is that the image might change slightly, and I do hope to use a native Escondido model, not actual model, just a person. But so the face might change, but we'll see.
I'm sure we all can identify with having a matriarch in the family, or someone an aunt or a mother or grandma who really at many times in our lives helped hold the family or the fabric of sometimes even our communities together. So we really thought that this was something that a lot of people could maybe think of someone when they see this, somebody who helped hold their family together.
Mm-hmm. And then this image is with it, it's photoshopped onto the wall. So that's basically the idea of what it would look like. There should be two images. I think there's one more. Yeah, that's just a different angle. But same idea. But obviously new asphalt.
I have a question. I know this is a sketch of the idea of the mural, but I would like to see the back of the hair, the clouds, more developed.
Yes, absolutely.
Right, of course,
Yes, absolutely. We agree.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
This is also not a digital sketch. This is a painted a hand-painted rendering
Yes.
on acrylic paint, so.
So this is, yeah, do you want to talk about our studio? No. So this is some of our past work, but yeah, if you'd like. Yeah, this is just to show you some of the
Previous work. but we
previous
can-
work, different shapes and kind of colors that we like to work with.
This is featured through the City of Oceanside, has this on their website, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, these are just different faces, portrait. And,
So the medium is acrylic?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh,
What is the
paint-
medium,
The paint
acrylic?
itself is actually latex-based water paint.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you for asking. And we are painting directly on the wall. And for maintenance, we plan on using a siloxane anti-graffiti coat, which we are going to use 3 coats of that. And that makes it liable for 10 years of warranty. So, and that also includes some UV protection. So, yeah. And then I actually have to update this budget because the last time I presented this.
This is the updated show.
Oh, this is the updated. No, it's not.
Oh, no.
No, it's not. It's not updated. So I can do you want to hand out some of the, I think it's up front, sorry.
So Danielle had asked us to go back to the contractors and the fencing company and ask to update according to prevailing wage updates.
Yes.
So the numbers we got back from the contract and the fencing company have gone up. So we're going to hand out, I think we only have 6 copies, but we're going to hand out the updated budget with the new contractor and fencing company's numbers.
I think.
We're looking at the budget on the stucco wall repair. Some of the damage appears to be water damage.
Yes.
Is that from a roof, or is that from cracks, or has a contractor addressed the water damage?
The contractor did identify that some of it was water damage. He said he would have to kind of get in there and decide
Yes.
when he's on the project, but we don't know exactly the source, no,
So that could increase the budget.
potentially.
That's an unknown, basically.
Oh, well, no, we wouldn't have you cover more than that. We would only have you cover what that, like, the owner, if there was actually, like, further
Water damage in the building?
That would be 100% on the owner.
That's up to the owner to
Yeah,
take care
we
of.
would not have you,
And the owner's in agreement with that?
as far as I know, yes. I haven't gotten it officially in writing, so I can get that in writing for you if you'd like.
Yes, because.
But in person, she said that.
Yeah, water damage can go into dry rot and all sorts of
Right.
different issues.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
So are the owners of the building contributing at all to the repair of their stucco wall?
So I had tried to talk to her about it. So it's her, anyway, I've mostly been talking with the daughter, who's, I want to say in her 60s, but her parents are the actual owners. They're in their like late 80s. And they said that they've been hit really hard with COVID, just like everyone else. So, yeah, she said they've just been having a really hard time, and even their tenants haven't been paying rent as much, which is, put them in a state of just being financially scrapped. Yeah. So, unfortunately, no. It's essentially the long version, yeah, of that answer.
So just looking at it right off the bat, I mean, that budget would pretty much wipe our city mural budget. Like,
Oh, my God.
I mean, no, like, what do you? I mean, it would take right? It would take a pretty big chunk. I mean, we have all the pending projects that are coming down the pipeline, right, Danielle? And
We do. Let me, we were going to pull this up later, but I can pull it up now.
yeah,
I mean, one thing we talked about the second we got the prevailing wage numbers back, we kind of talked and we were like, we don't know if this will be worth it for the city unless there was grants available that could somehow, other grants from other city projects to help this business owner, like business owner grants to help her repair the wall. We're more interested, I mean, to be honest, of even pursuing other walls altogether that would not need repair. That's something that we were even talking about as soon as we got the numbers back and realized that this is a much, much bigger budget than we had initially
I think the biggest unknown is about that wall and the repair, and that I don't think we can move ahead. I can't until we know something about that.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Or unless we're able
I would like to add something, because this location, we identified this wall, I think, over a year and a half ago. I mean, it is a prime location for the downtown. For pedestrians, for the city, for tourism, it's a fantastic location.
Yes.
My question to the two artists that are there, did you get other bids for the stucco? We only see one. Is
Yes,
there any
so-
way that we can get
Yes,
a
I got
lower
one. So
bid?
my current lowest bid is 20,000. That's with prevailing wage. I got one for 35,000. I got one for 30,000, just under. And I was like, oh, wow. We'll go with the 20,000. So and that's just the amount of, I've actually met like at least 10 more contractors, and those are just the ones who sent me quotes. So yes, I've actually been working very hard, and I mean, you can't see that on paper, but yes, I have.
No, we should have included those, but I think, to be honest, we are willing to look at other walls if this
Yes.
would not be a contender
Sure.
based on this number,
Yeah.
because this is a much higher number than we hope to bring you with today.
Did you
Because when we had
approach-
even, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Please.
Did you approach the owners, or did the owner approach you? It's just a matter of semantics, I just wondered.
Oh, we had approached.
We had
them.
approached the owners just because of the location.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just a matter of,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank
I
you.
think the wall is a wonderful spot. I can see how you're excited and passionate about this.
Yeah.
It's perfect, actually, except for the damage that we don't know about, and it sounds like the owners are having some financial struggles
Yes.
that they're not going to be able to cover. Anything we would be willing to put into it.
Right.
My feeling is we need another location. I don't know if everybody else agrees, but
Yeah, we had talked with other owners that were inclined to work with us. We were really trying to rally behind this
Yes.
location. Actually, my sister had thought about pursuing another location when she realized the damage was so great.
yes.
However, I was really thinking, just for the benefit of downtown, most downtowns have more murals central. So we were really trying to rally for a central wall. Unfortunately, this is the largest. It's 100-foot in the area. That's
Perfect.
unmarked canvas. It really is very ideal. However, the expense as the number increases, we're feeling less enthusiastic about the location. So we can go back and look at other locations and talk with owners we were previously speaking
That's
with.
just my feeling. I don't
Yeah.
know about the other commissioners.
I mean-
Your feeling?
The only other thing that I could see maybe working is we pull some of the Grand Avenue Art Project money for that. And then,
No, and I don't think we're comfortable with pulling, money from other projects. We're
that's
not
essentially
comfortable
what
with
it's for. So we have a budget for art for Grand Avenue specifically. And, I think we're thinking sculptures and whatnot, right? Or for that. Just throwing that out
Yes,
into the air. I don't know.
I would like to add
like
to
totally
that.
shut me down if you want, but.
We have $250,000 allotted to Grand Avenue Art Project that we haven't touched yet. And we only have 130,000
Yeah.
for murals. This mural is huge. It's 100 feet long, I believe.
Yeah.
So I'm looking, unfortunately, to the budget that you submitted earlier. So I'm looking at a total budget here of 37,400. What is the total right now, the latest?
Here, it's $44,710.
And then that's because of the,
And that 20,000 of that is stucco wall repair.
So it's almost half of it is that the repair of that wall. I strongly believe on the location. Can the mural be smaller?
we cut it in half.
We can
Don't
talk
go
to the
to
owner
100
about
feet.
making it smaller. Yeah, we could.
That's a good option, to bring down the budget. That's a good option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if the wall repair, I mean, I guess they could just do part of it, yeah.
One thing I'd like to bring up, we recently reestablished the facade improvement program here at the city. So I did send last week the link to that program. There's an application. It's run through our economic development department, so I'm not sure of the details, what the cap on the grants are, if there is one, but that's something that we could also look into. And I did read the requirements just a little bit, and a lot of it talks about the frontage of the store. So I'm not exactly sure if this side wall would be an eligible cost, but it's another thing that we can look into, that maybe if we can get that grant funding to cover the repair, and then the art commission would just cover the actual art.
Yeah, I think that would be ideal. I could see that happening, because I agree, it is a very central area there on Grand Avenue, and it's right smack in the middle of Maple Plaza. So, and it goes with the theme of the place that makes the tamales and stuff. So,
I wanted to add that, again, I'm sorry, my throat is not letting, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to pass.
Oh.
Can we tap on the Grand Avenue Art Project money?
Yes, I think we can. The project is written very generally, so I think as long as the art is on Grand Avenue. Let me see.
Okay.
And it's in the area of the improvements. I think that's the key, because the approved description of the project is funding plan for construction of potential public art in conjunction with the Grand Avenue Street improvements. So that is the block that just got most of the improvements, so it is within those boundaries. So I don't see why not. So that's another option if we want to fully fund it through there or partially fund it through there.
I think I would like to see it fully funded through that, if possible.
I agree 100%.
I
Yeah.
disagree. I believe we don't know what's happening there. I mean, you could get into hundreds of thousands, I mean, you get into a lot of money, I
No,
don't know.
no.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'd like you to come back with some idea of what's, the construction costs would be.
yeah, I agree. Like, obviously, if we come back and, whatever we allocated, if there was some way to set up a provision, like to make sure that if it's something that's, okay, this is going to take way more than just repairing a stucco, obviously, like, come back and.
So just to clarify, so you're saying, because these contractors are looking at this wall, they all have seen the wall in person and giving us these quotes. So you're saying hypothetically, if they begin the project, we need something in writing from the owner, that if the numbers were to exceed what the contractor initially estimated, then that's where we say, hold up, we're not sure if we can proceed with this project. Is that, am I understanding what you guys are saying correctly?
I think the safest way would be where you were going, right, is to make sure that there isn't any other issue there. Yeah, structural issues and that
So
sort of
to
thing.
get in it, like the same contractors out again to give a deeper look?
It's not.
at it?
So from
Yeah,
after talking to the contractors, sorry?
We got a bid from the contractor, right? And then basically, that would be his final bid regardless of what happens. So he needs to be open to say if it becomes a more deeper problem, he'll have to solve it for the same amount of money. So we are approving a budget that he gave us, and he needs to stick to that budget.
Yeah,
And then we fund it through the Grand Avenue Art Project that doesn't touch our mural money.
Unfortunately, Anna Marie, I totally understand, but I don't. The construction world doesn't work that way, unfortunately. Though, if something else structurally says, "Oh, hey, we found this," they're just gonna ask whether or not to do it, and
Yeah.
so, yeah, exactly.
Once we start, and we start tearing down things and find out there's more issues, which could be water damage, roof damage, structural damage, we're committed at that point for creating more damage.
Yeah. So I think I think the fear lies in finding more issues with the wall, and then us committing this project and then having all these issues happen, I guess. So obviously, there's no guarantee that things that we won't run into these kind of issues with any other project either. But if there's a way that we can get the most solid understanding of what the issues are in that wall, then I think we'd be in a better place.
One, I was wondering, another option might be like the alley art, that it wouldn't be applied to the wall, but be applied to something that would be applied to the wall.
Basically painting this wall on panels and putting it to the surface. We hadn't not looked into something like that.
That's a thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good thought.
What do the artists think?
I don't understand that. Can you explain what,
The panels?
yeah.
Yeah, so we would put panels up and paint on those panels instead of directly on the wall.
Instead of repairing the wall at all. You would probably leave the wall in the condition it is.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, and like Tristan said, they discovered this new material that is lighter and less expensive. So that is a possibility, a very creative possibility. Good thinking, Patricia.
Yeah. And it
the
also
owner-
won't warp, which is very important. When you deal with a large panel, it's like a large canvas.
Yep.
You've stretched it, but it can always warp. So you need something like this new material. And so you would have to, probably 100 feet, you would have to figure out stretch the panels, the sizes, and how many you
Yeah,
would
they'll,
need.
they'll have to figure that out.
Right.
So I,
Can you
That
come
is a
back
nice
to us with that,
option.
possibly?
We also need to talk to the owner, because I think part of the interest of the elderly father was, we're really excited to have the wall repaired, to be completely honest. So that was a big piece, was they were very excited about the art, but also the wall repair as a package.
Yeah.
So we will see if the public art piece is removed, and it's just the art we're proposing, we can absolutely chat with them and
I
see.
mean, they would still have a much nicer.
Yes,
Yeah.
it would,
No, I think they would
distract from the
think
the
they'd
current
still be
wall. Yes,
interested.
yes.
Yeah.
And potentially, maybe it would cover some of the cracks, who knows, so.
Yeah, so,
Can I add one more thing? I think as far as the timeline for you guys, I think you have a mural that you're doing before this one, if this is approved. So I feel like we have a little bit of time to work through this. If we want to look at that facade improvement program, we can apply for that. I can help you through that process. And then hopefully that will come through. And then we would just come back and for the art piece, because that's, a more reasonable, that's what we typically pay for. And so I don't know what you think about, if you want to go in that direction.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can look into the grant things and stuff.
awesome. Yeah, so this is a no, but yeah, I think we're definitely open to this idea for sure.
Yeah, and thank you for bearing with us, because the budget has
Yeah, no.
changed a lot, and we've been like, oh, not sure anymore. So thank you guys for
Thank you.
understanding the importance of this piece.
Yeah.
so.
Thank you. We're really excited, so hopefully we'll come through, right? We'll make it.
Yes, thank you guys for your time.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
What's next?
All right, let me see.
Okay.
Okay. Up next, we've got Small Town, Big Ideas.
Okay, thanks for your patience, have a little more show and tell. And I apologize for it didn't translate from my MacBook to the city's computers, so it may, is that it? Okay, so we're going to start, and I was just going to say what an exciting time to be involved in art. If you could start in Escondido. Okay, yeah, all right. We have a Public Art Commission that's geared and ready to make future and significant decisions for our wonderful city and downtown. I have a simplistic approach, not egotistical, yet creative, art that tugs at the heart, history and heritage of the community. I have 22 slides, take about 5 minutes. My purpose for this presentation is because we are about to embark on a citywide plan for public art. I believe we need to lead. Who knows Escondido better than we do? So let's for a moment just think outside the box. We're not New York City or LA, and we're not a beach town like Laguna. We are Escondido, and I'm very proud of that. My vision would be to make Escondido more exciting than any surrounding city, to make Escondido a destination, make Escondido shine with art, to reflect who we are. So, just in getting started, I'm going to start with a comparison. This is a small town on the East Coast that in many ways mirrors Escondido. It's a historic town with about 4 blocks of retail. So are we. Next picture. It has surrounding wine.
I don't think I have that.
Who are we talking to?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay.
It's God.
Sorry, Anne Marie. Let's see. It has surrounding wineries, just like us. They have a thriving historic district, like we have. This town has a historic, repurposed movie theater, so do we. It's a town rich in grassroots bluegrass music. We have the Arts Center and obviously a little bit more sophisticated venues and concerts. And they know their audience. Like us, they are not located on the coast. They're like 400 miles from the coast. Its history is rich in farming, so are we. Other things like ours, go back a little bit, please. Okay. A great car cruise. The next slide. Yeah, an art district off Grand or Main Avenue. Festivals and lots of murals. Next slide. Great sculptures. So what I see as a key in this East Coast city, it has strategically placed artwork along the central historic shopping district. You don't have to have a futuristic eye to appreciate the diverse artwork. Okay, just could you go back a little bit? Okay. It's down to earth, speaks from who they are, and despite history, who they are, and its unique history, and it works. One more thing, like Escondido, it has great pride and heart. You can go to the next one now. I just threw this in because it's just sweet. I mean, this is John Paul the Great on the left-hand side, and this is Pink Floyd's off Main, and I just thought that was a good idea. It's a stimulating walk, next slide, that draws you from one block to another. The biggest difference in this town and ours is it is a town of just over 10,000 people, as opposed to our 150,000 people, and their streets and businesses stay busy. So this is my dream for Escondido. I want to see a ripple effect. Just keep it there. I want to see a ripple effect. Thank you, Danielle. With the epicenter being Grand Avenue and reaching out to the north, south, east, and west, a central place where you want to go and explore. What would that look like? What would that art look like? What would draw people to come to Escondido? I believe Queen Khalifa's magical circle would be the magic thread that is the key to making it happen. I'm privileged to be a docent at the Queen, where we have had, on a really good day, 500 people visiting for a really good day, visiting in a 4-hour time frame. We average about more or less 200 people per visit. Yes, the Queen is priceless and iconic and attracts many people. It attracts many would-be shoppers who only come to Escondido, visit the garden, and go home without going to downtown Escondido. Our iconic Queen Khalifa's garden is the only art exhibit like this in the whole Western Hemisphere. Nikki de St. Phal is one of the most renowned and celebrated women artists in the 20th century. So just imagine with me for a moment, let's connect the two. Colorful art objects in the style of Nikki, but with that local historic theme that shoppers and everyone can relate to. Mosaic style art, next slide, in the fashion of the Queen on each block that reflects the Safari Park, Center for the Arts, next, our agriculture, Cruising Grand, next slide, our wineries and local, next slide, our wineries and local traditions, to mention a few. Financially, and I've talked to the Downtown Business Association, they love the idea. I can see partnerships with local wineries, breweries, charitable foundations, grants, and the Safari Park, even Old Escondido Historic District. Any buy-in would take some of the load off of our overall budget. It takes unity of ideas, fine-tuning, and finances to work together with City Council, Downtown Business Association, Arts Partnership, Escondido Charitable Foundation, and other philanthropic groups, but doing it with a purpose and a vision of the outcome would transform Escondido. We already have a great start. Next slide. Easy tune-ups to fronts of businesses with colorful planners. Next slide. All these are Instagrammable moments. People want to come downtown to shop locally, and even more now to shop locally and eat. Let's make it a destination by adding colorful art. Next slide. After all, if a town of 10,000 can attract thousands of visitors every year by highlighting an old sitcom star from the 1960, our city of 150,000 has a potential to attract thousands of people with a priceless icon of the Queen. That's it.
Excellent. That's excellent.
Commissioner Span, I think we should have hired you to do the master plan.
I don't know, I've had people say that we have the talent up here to it just makes sense to have something that's so iconic and pull a lot of people just don't even know down there. And we get people from LA, we get people from overseas, and what's to do in town? You know, you send them up here and it's like, oh, it's just a reflection of this. And it's not cheating by doing that, it's just complimenting her because of what she is. So I think we could pull something like this off. We have some money to do it. And what I would propose, and you know, what I can see in my little mind and my dream is having a collection. And that was of maybe 8, 10 with one or two artists that it would be similar. So you'd have 2 or 3 objects, and as you go along Grand Avenue, there are areas that just are crying out for something fun. And you know, it just Disney, you know, it's just got a lot of. I think it would bring people to town, and I think it would bring art to town, and it would be good art, and it would be art that would people would talk about and say, well, let's go to the coast. No, let's go to Escondido. So anyway.
Yeah.
Tricia, you outdid yourself. Yeah. That is just amazing. What I love is that common thread of colorful, playful, happiness, attraction, and you even took that building on Grand Avenue that's been deserted for many, many years and put 2 little sculptures in the front of it. You took areas of downtown that need to have some life in it, and you gave them life. I think this was wonderful.
And you made me
springboard.
Yeah, you made me think about the idea that people come from all over the world to see the Queen Khalifa and to take, you know, photographs of it. And while they're here, we need to pull them to the main downtown.
There's a street, Park Hill Drive, that I was up today, and they have a lot of big rocks that have mosaics on them, and there's probably about 30 houses on that street, right? And as I was driving up today, it was like, oh, there's another one, and it just made it, and even the Downtown Business Association was talking about these could be possibly movable or moved around, you know, like I know we have a booth down at Urban Barn, and sometimes if you just move something from one area to another, it looks like a whole new display. There's a lot of moving parts to this, and that could happen. But the DBA is looking to get people downtown. We're looking to get business and art, because they kind of feed off each other. We are an art destination because of the Arts Center, and then we have the Queen on the other end. Okay, I don't know where you want to do with this, but I just think it's fun.
This did remind me, I went to school in Davis, California for college, and in the downtown area, they had mosaic benches and each of them were themed. Like there were zoo animals, like beachy stuff, and I was just up in Carlsbad, and they have like those giant benches too. So I don't know, I like the idea of where this is headed. Yeah.
Also,
Have we signed that contract
What contract?
with the, I'm just asking, have we signed the contract for the arts
The master plan.
master plan? Yes,
It's in the signature phase.
okay.
Yes.
I also thought of something that you just jogged my memory, and I wanted to bring this up. There on El Norte Parkway and Broadway, I think it is, there's a liquor store. And they just put up these metal giraffes, right?
Yeah.
They're really nice. No, I mean, they're really nice. And I thought, that's the theme of our, safari park. Why don't we have more of that? You see that in the desert, that metal sculptor who puts up these installations.
Yeah.
Why don't we have more of that?
There's a lot to dream about, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think, I think this is it's a good start to something bigger, and I think that's why we have that budget, right, for the Grand Avenue art project. But I think this is going to be pretty a nice opportunity too for our community to really give input and see what they want to see, and with a lot of the ideas that are similar to what Ms. Span has brought up too, and just I think really it has an opportunity to really unify our community. Really, making sure that there's as much as diverse voices in the mix as possible, and I think it has a really cool potential, for sure.
I do too. How many of you remember in front of Felipe's, the bench with the lady sitting on it? I miss her. I mean, I miss her. She's gone.
She'll be back.
Moved to it.
Oh, yeah.
Will she be back?
She'll be back?
I really miss her. And that just reminds me of how we pay attention to those artistic details when we're strolling along, and how what Patricia did brought color and vibrance, life.
Yeah.
I really like this a lot.
I'd like to see this. A lot of the stuff was really cool, tying in, especially like the Queen stuff and what. But I feel like something that we're lacking in our community is like talking about our tribal community that it wasn't Escondido at one
Hello?
point. Yeah.
Could I ask a question? I mean, make a comment?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Patricia, so if you remember, we had an amazing exhibit on Nikki and Fall a few years ago. And on the entrance to the museum to the left, that whole room was dedicated to, and I think most of them were female artists, but they were mixed. They were all mosaic artists that got inspiration from Nikki and Fall and then exhibited their work. So we already have it on, to basically who we can tap on for this kind of project. That's one comment I wanted to say. The other one is Queen Khalifa seems to be like the gate that opens. So people come from all over the world and the country to Queen Khalifa. And when they're there, because I was also a docent, they get so excited, they want to see more. So I remember giving them these little leaflets and saying, well, go downtown to the Partnership Gallery, and they have something there too. And then go to the Center for the Arts, and there's another sculpture there. So this would be like jumping from Queen Khalifa, taking them all the way to downtown, and then having them take a tour of art that is inspired on Nikki de Saint Paul art. So yeah, this could be awesome, but I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else you want to add to that at all?
I just have a question before we go. Natalie and I, we took our inspiration from Anna Marie and the tour that she gave us of the public art, and how she pointed out that Joan Irving's installations along East Valley Parkway are sort of obscured by the traffic signs. How would we communicate with the traffic people?
We have already done that. We've trimmed the trees, we've trimmed bushes, we've moved signs where we can. So unfortunately, what we're left with now is what we were able to do. The only other thing that we kind of, that we were going to look into that we haven't so far or yet is some lighting for those pieces.
Okay.
All right. So just for the sake of time, can we go ahead and move on to the next item? All right. Thank you so much for that. This was cool. All right. So item D, liaison report.
Okay, so I will try to make this quick. I do have a lot of updates, though. The mural over at the California Center for the Arts is done, the Kenny Scharf mural. I don't know if you've been over there to see it. It did turn out a little bit differently than what we originally saw and what we approved. And I guess when he was there, he felt very inspired by the orange trees, and it turned into more of a garden scene. So I think it's very beautiful. I like how it turned out, but so that is done. We're excited about that. The murals just to add to that, we will be as the Mural Subcommittee, we'll be looking, because this came up and we got a different mural than we approved. That's something that the Mural Subcommittee will be talking about sometime in the near future, about how we would address that, how we prevent that from happening. Also, we'll be looking at the mural agreement and the mural program, and looking at maybe some changes that need to occur to that. So anything that we do, anything that we change, we'll bring that back to you guys and make sure that you're fully aware of those and on board with anything we suggest.
And I would like to ask Juan if he could schedule Mural Subcommittee meeting, within a month or so.
Yep, sounds good.
The next update is the Washington Park murals. These pictures are from last week. So you see this one is not quite done yet, and I'm sorry I was not able to make it out there this week. I don't know where we are with this one just yet, but you can see the start of that one there. And then this one is pretty much done at this point, which I love. So they turned out really nice. Regarding the benches, it was requested that we could get some of this blue paint to paint the benches out front of the opening, the doors right over here. And Public Works didn't have any on hand, but they're going to go buy us a gallon of that paint, and then we'll provide it to the students and some other volunteers, and we'll just get those painted blue instead of putting murals on them.
Great.
Actually, if I could add, I think they're expecting volunteers, and those volunteers would be like myself and Sudi and anybody else who wants to bring a brush and go paint the benches. So if anybody wants to volunteer there,
sounds like fun.
Let us know.
All right.
Henge, which, if you're not familiar with it, it's the playground here at Grape Day Park, and there's the grape slide, and then there are the leaf benches, and then the Henge is the climbing structure. Public Works, works in the parks, and they reported some damage to that structure. So this Friday, I'll be meeting with the artists to see what we can do to repair that, or if we're at a stage to repair. The structure itself is probably about 20 years old. I don't remember exactly when it was installed. So it may be a conversation of maybe it's past its useful life and it would need to be replaced. But we'll have that conversation on Friday, and then I will update you guys with what the results of that conversation are. The mural at Charlie's mural over off of Washington, on Rose, but across from Washington Park. He sent me his signed agreement that is being signed on our end right now, and I expect him to be starting that very soon. I know he has the month of July because he'll be back in school to complete that, so we should see that mural in the next couple of weeks go up.
Wait, which one?
I had one question. That mural that is like a sticker on Washington Park, I was there on Saturday, and if they don't glue, there's about the size of my hand. If they don't glue that down, somebody's just going to peel it off.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know if the
Signpost?
signposts would do it, or if what.
Probably not. We'll have
Crazy
to go
glue.
out and take a look at it and see if there's something that maybe our
I
Public Works
hate
crew
to
can
see
do.
it
Yeah.
get ruined for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is, oh,
The Queen, did you have a question?
no, she was asking which mural that was for Charlie's. Yeah, it's on the Tortilleria, right across from Washington Park.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Queen Khalifa event space, we put out the RFP for the construction of that, and unfortunately, we got no responses. So I think what's happening, because we saw it happen with the bike park RFP that I had issued as well, it's a smaller project. When we're talking to these consultants, they are just slammed with work. They have so many projects, on their books, and I think these smaller projects are just not attractive to them. So we're going to regroup on that. I've had some conversations with our Public Works Department. We're going to look at potentially maybe doing that in-house. We would have to sub out some of the work, like the environmental work, but we have $250,000. I think this could be a blessing. I think that we will get probably more for our money doing it in-house. It just may slow down the schedule a little bit, but we'll be meeting with Public Works tomorrow. We were supposed to meet this afternoon, but something came up and we didn't get that opportunity. So we'll be meeting with Public Works tomorrow to talk about that and a number of other projects and how we're going to move that forward. But that is grant funded. The money has to be spent by 2026, which I know is a very long time away, and that is not, we obviously want to get this done this year. But just so you know, there is some flexibility there with that spending.
And hopefully we can get a permanent type roof up there instead of just sails.
Exactly. Yeah, what I suggested is that we look at one of those prefab, like an aluminum roof or a steel. If you guys have ever been over to the Park Avenue Community Center and been out in the
Yeah.
garden area, the succulent garden, we have a nice large gazebo out there. I think we would need something probably just a little bit bigger than that, but I think that's what we're going to look at, something that's not going to require much maintenance. I mean, we have beautiful wood structures, but they eventually need to be, the wood rots, years down the road, but anything we can do to have a less maintenance on the project in the long run, the better.
Good idea.
The Palomar College murals, we talked about those. We've talked about those a few times. Anna Marie and I went back and looked at where we are with those. I think we need to re-engage with the school. We haven't heard from them, so we talked about re-engaging with them. We have the gentleman's contact, so hopefully we'll have an update on if we're going to move forward with that by the next meeting. They seem to be very interested. So hopefully that's still the same, and we can move forward with something over there.
If there's any way I could participate in that also as well,
Sure.
that means to re-engage.
Okay. And then lastly, the reflections on downtown, which is the bronze sculpture that you were asking about. When the Grand Avenue construction started, we removed that from the area. And it's been held over at the Public Works Yard. So we will not be putting it back on Grand Avenue. I think the final location is going to be the bus stop on Broadway, right by Grape Day Park. So the artist, we reached out to the artist. The artist unfortunately passed away years ago. So we spoke with her husband, and he was completely fine with that. We told him, we wanted to keep it in the downtown area because that's what it's called, Reflections on Downtown. And it's a woman sitting at a bus stop. So we wanted to make sure that was, we placed it appropriately, and he was 100% in favor of that location. So I think that's where it's going to go. She's very heavy, so we can't just sit her on the bench. We have to reinforce the bench. And so Public Works plans on having her reinstalled by the end of July.
Wonderful.
And I think that's it for liaison report.
All right. So moving on to subcommittee updates. Unfortunately, I don't have a mural subcommittee update because we haven't had a meeting in a little while, so it's partly my fault. But we can move on to the Queen Khalifa subcommittee update.
Well, this will be short. Just a report on the Queen. Marty Tiedemann set up a tour exchange. It was wonderful with the docents. We went down to the La Jolla Museum of Art, and it was a Nikki of the 60s. It was gave us a little different insight of what we see and what her art became. And about 2 weeks ago, Marty gave a tour that they came up here. About 20 came up on a tour bus, and they toured our Queen, and it was very successful. Sorry. But two things stood out to me, but half the guests asked how to donate, and fortunately, we have the little QR code now. But these are the people that have money, and they said, well, I want to know how to donate. So that was kind of exciting. And also, they came to eat lunch in the park, and there was so many of them, the tables that we had designated or you had put out for them, just wasn't enough of them. So there is a big need for that event circle. So we can have more tour exchanges, so we can have more people want to get married there and have their, I know we can't have, so we need something outside of it where we can have food and make money for the Queen, or there's interest in weddings and for parties there. So, and also the Queen regularly has between 150 to 200 and plus people visit. So we'd love to have 12 more docents that are to be able to be open every Saturday. That would be great. And my last point is the oak tree is growing again. I don't know if that's a concern or not.
Yes, one of the other docents, Howard, pointed that out to us. He sent me a picture, so I forwarded to Public Works, and we're going to have to retreat that tree.
Wherever there's a tree, there's roots, and where there's roots.
Exactly, and we just made that repair, and we don't want to have to do that repair again. So we will, yes, Public Works is already aware of it, and they may even have already treated the tree to kill the roots.
That's it.
Sweet.
All right.
All right, moving on to item G, items from commissioners. Anybody have any items they want to touch base on or bring up?
I would like to add for the next meeting, which I think is future agenda. I'm sorry, I'm ahead.
Yeah.
The electric boxes, I forward some pictures to Danielle, and maybe we can discuss that. I know that Terry had started looking into that, and maybe we can move forward with that project once and for all too. So I think we need to form, mini subcommittees that can move forward with different things. And this would be one.
Okay, I will add that to future agenda.
I don't know if it's an agenda item or not, but I'd like to, until we go forward with our art plan, some of the ideas, I'd like them to have a theme and coordinate at some point. I mean, I know it's not going to be exact, but I mean, it's something that would, so it's cohesive, and so we just don't have something here that doesn't work with this over here. And so the town, when you come to it, and I'm pushing for the downtown to have art and have it emanate out from there. And I know we have a lot of great art, but I think to bring people here and to view it in that 4-block area would be a benefit to the downtown and the businesses. That really isn't anything, except I just wanted to mention it.
Thematic, not random.
Yeah, awesome. So I'll use that as oral communication. Any other oral communications that anybody would like to share? All right, with that being said, I will adjourn this meeting at 6:58 p.m. Awesome, thank you.